Live, this is News 12. News This Morning. On your side, tracking winter weather.
Closing the roads and everything, so we got to get in.
Got to get in. Cleanup just beginning for parts of the two states. Snow still blanketing in some major cities, including Charleston and Savannah. Even Bamberg residents still waking up all in white this morning. You can see here what that scene has been like over the last few hours. The snow piling up since yesterday. And as other parts of Georgia and South Carolina start to thaw, the Northeast braces for the worst. You're taking a live look now in Philadelphia, where the snow has already started to come down hard. And good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us for News 12 this morning on this Thursday. It is 6:30. I'm Monique Williams. Going to tell you a lot more about what's happening weather-wise in just a minute, but we want to let you know what you can expect this morning in terms of kids going back to school. So Burke County, Allendale County, and Bamberg Districts 1 and 2 schools will be closed again today. Aiken County students were sent home yesterday. It was actually their first day back. Well, the school district says it will be open today starting at normal time. So get at it, everybody. And other local school systems, though, heading back to school for the first time since Christmas holiday. Schools in Tolliver, Wilkes, Screven, and Emmanuel counties go back today. In South Carolina, it is Barnwell Districts 45 and 29 getting ready to head back. And Tim, a lot of us didn't get to see any of that snow. I, for one, am okay with that. I know a lot of people like it, but, you know, it can move on as far as I'm concerned.
That's one thing it is doing, quickly moving on and becoming more of a problem now for the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Anywhere from the Outer Banks of North Carolina to Maine is where that snow stretches here. So that 95 stretch going through the nation's capital, on past the Big Apple. Boy, Boston bracing for what could be about 6 to 8 inches of snow and just very gusty winds. The cold air still in place. Those that are back in school, make sure you're dressed warmly here all the way through the day. We still have the winter weather advisories, Jenkins, Screven, Allendale County, the only counties included in our viewing area, until 11 o'clock. And that also continues down towards the coast. Wind chill advisories just because it is so cold outside. Mainly these winter weather advisories for the driving conditions, not conducive. Still will not expect to see a whole lot of melting because temperatures are just going to get in maybe the middle to upper 30s and 40s. The sunshine will make the difference, but even the overnight lows are expected to get back down in the 20s and teens tomorrow morning. So it's black ice that's a big problem for the next few days until we can completely get rid of what's there on the coast. 29 with a 10-mile-per-hour wind. That makes the bitter cold air still in place. Wind chill values, teens and 20s right now. 22 degrees here out the door this morning, and then mid-30s by lunchtime. Sunny skies finish off in the upper 30s to about 40 degrees between 3 and 5 o'clock. A cold and breezy at times commute coming home. We're still looking at a very cold start heading in to Friday morning, and finally a break from the really cold Arctic air until we get moving into the start of next week. And maybe we'll start talking rain chances coming back this time as opposed to the snowstorm. We'll have details on that outlook in about 10 minutes from now. Monique?
All right, Tim, thanks so much. Parts of South Carolina still under inches of snow this morning. You can see here, though, dozens of folks enjoying it all in Charleston and Summerville. People had snowball fights, they went sledding, and even snowboarding a little bit. But with the flurries, it was not all fun and games. Check this out. Near whiteout conditions brought several major roads in the low country to a standstill. This is I-95. It was hit the hardest. This video shows just how difficult it was to navigate that area. You can see cars that had spun out, some backed up. Look at that, for miles. Well, across the river, the Savannah area saw its own dusting. The snow, not nearly as thick there, but you can still see it was enough to build a small snowman there. Officials say they worked about a dozen car accidents caused by icy roads, but so far no injuries have been reported in the two-state. Well, yesterday's storm stretched so far south, even Floridians saw snow. Now, you know it's cold when it's snowing in Florida. These flurries came down in Tallahassee. It did not stick, though, but it was a big deal for folks who live there. The last recorded snowfall, 1989. Well, as the south starts to pick up after the snowstorm, the Northeast is bracing for a big one. You're taking a live look now at Atlantic City, where the snow is already piling up. Forecasters are calling for nearly a foot of snow and some 70-mile-per-hour winds. In Boston, look at this. Store shelves completely bare this morning. These pictures show the massive crowds and shoppers rushing to get the last of their supplies before the storm hits. Many folks who live there expect this one to be the biggest one in a lot of years.
I grew up here. I was here for the blizzard of '78, then left for 30 years, and now I'm back and don't know why.
He says he doesn't know why he went back. Well, meanwhile, police are preparing Army surplus vehicles for possible rescues and nearly 700 pieces of machinery gearing up for days of cleanup. Well, both Boston and New York City have canceled school today. Well, closer to home, many of you in the Bamberg area still waking up to this white this morning, but much less. At last check, yesterday's flurries still have not melted there. Officials say even though you get another day to play, you need to be extra cautious. In many places below the flurries is a thick layer of ice, which means bad news for drivers.
Ice, when it makes that solid layer on that asphalt, there's just no way to control the car. You got no friction, and the car goes where it wants to go.
Please be careful out there. As we mentioned earlier in the show, Bamberg Districts 1 and 2 will be closed today. Local and state government offices will open a little later than usual. Barnwell is opening at noon. Bamberg opening doors for business at 1 p.m. Well, not quite as much snow in Burke County, but still some pretty big flakes coming down for about an hour yesterday. It really started falling around noon. Students let out of school early, even though most of that has melted. County officials tell us they are still worried about the possibility of black ice. Well, the cold temperatures and wintry precipitation could be stressful for some, but for kids, nothing beats a snow day. News 12's Jason Raven joins us now with a look at some photos and video that started rolling in as soon as the flurries started falling. Jason, what you got?
Well, it's great. Get out of school early, can't beat that, and no crazy weather is complete without a forecast from the Swainsboro weather girl, Allie Taylor.
Let's get out there and have some fun, but you better hurry up, because this is Georgia, and we don't know how long it's going to last. Do you know what they call an old snowman? Water.
So we knew she had a future as a meteorologist, but comedy isn't a bad second option. Kids bundled up just to enjoy the snow. And who says it's just for the kids? The dogs out there enjoying the winter wonderland. And it's just a great time for everyone. Everyone bundled up, full of smiles, enjoying the snow. Look at that. In Aiken, that's a photo from Aiken. First snow, that is great. Having a lot of fun out there. And save that snow as well. It was melting fast, but they tried to make the most of it. And over in North Augusta, they missed out on some snow. So these people took matters into their own hands, and it might be tough to tell coming up right here, but that is News 12 on your sides, Liz Owens right there. And great reporter, not too great at making snow angels. You got to commit, Liz. You got to stay down there a little bit longer. But thanks to everyone who sent us your photos. And if you ever have photos or videos you want to share or submit to us, you can send that to wrew.com/mycapture.
Oh, Jason, that's good stuff. I mean, you're right. Nothing beats a snow day for kids and a lot of adults, too. You know, we don't see this stuff that often. Yeah,
I went up to New York not too long ago, and I saw snow for the first time in years, and I immediately stopped, took pictures, and FaceTimed everyone, and just to show them what was going on.
That's right. That inner kid immediately comes out. Jason, thanks so much for that. Well, we didn't see any snow in Augusta, but the freezing temperature is still having a major effect on a lot of you. Look at this. This is the way this fountain looked yesterday. Looks more like an ice sculpture. This is downtown. It still has not thawed this morning. They look more like ice sculptures, as we've said, all week long. It doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. So those temperatures forcing many of you to look for somewhere to go, but local shelters are filling up fast. The Salvation Army says right now the men's shelter is at 140% capacity, and the women's side is operating at 115% capacity. It's something organizers admit they were not expecting.
This is not something that we anticipated weeks ago, so this is kind of a surprise. So we're scrambling to get the resources we need.
Well, but despite those close quarters, organizers say they are not turning anyone away. One woman says without that generosity, she likely would have, quote, frozen to death.
Warm, I'm safe, I'm out of the elements, and I can't ask for anything more than that.
Well, dozens of people are donating all kinds of supplies, from blankets to pillows. Even some Augusta firefighters have stepped in to help. So if you want to figure out what you can do, how you can help and how you can donate, just head to our website at WRDW.com.
Well, just about 20 till the top of the hour. That snowstorm moving further and further up the East Coast there. Outer Banks of North Carolina, Norfolk, Virginia, all the way to Maine. There is snow being reported at this point here. We're looking at a couple of winter weather advisories. That's Jenkins, Screven, Allendale County until 11 o'clock this morning. Travel concerns because of melting and refreezing, what you can't see out there on the roads. Thankfully, we don't have that issue at all. No winter weather here locally in the metro from yesterday, so thus our roads are clear. But make sure you are dressed warmly. Get that heat going. We've got temps just shy of 30. The winds are still about 10 miles per hour. The air is extremely dry. Dew points are in the single digits to low teens. Those that are back in school, of course, you've got a very cold morning to wait on the bus out there. Low 20s and mainly just about 40 degrees. Upper 30s to low 40s. We'll finish off your school day coming home at between 3 and 4. It's the cold, brisk wind chills that are going to remain through the day. We're looking at anywhere between the low teens to 20s this morning, and not even breaking maybe above freezing for wind chill values this afternoon. Sunshine, that's going to continue all the way into the weekend, and we'll finally see a break of the really cold Arctic air by Sunday and Monday. More noticeable into Monday's forecast. But that low is off the mid-Atlantic coast, moving up further across the northeast. That's where the problems lie. We've got a weak cold front just off to our northwest. Behind that, as it moves on through, we're going to feel the winds from it, unfortunately. So a cold, brisk day. The temperatures around the upper 30s to near 40 about 2 o'clock. But wind chills, even though we're at 40, will stay in the upper 20s to low 30s for everybody. So those could be a bit dangerous at times. Then we're back down with clear skies and teens and 20s into Friday morning. That doesn't change at all here. So a very cold blast that continues into early Friday. Sunny skies. Most temperatures kind of breaking the barrier of the low 40s between Augusta, Sylvania, Swainsboro, and Millen. So we have that to look forward to, but still it's the morning lows that are going to remain down in the 20s all the way through Saturday morning, and plenty of sunshine. That sunshine will feel good though at times. Midday to 5 o'clock, 34 to 36. Keeping in mind that 6 to 12 mile per hour wind, maybe even a few higher gusts are going to be very blustery here for today. Current temps, we're sitting at 16 in Saluda to the middle and upper 20s, about 30 degrees. Well, we may see that in Waynesboro, but again, just trying to do whatever you can to stay warm. Keep that in mind. 40 degrees with sunshine and brisk winds here for today. We're going to be taking a look at what's going on in that weekend shortly.
All right, Tim, thanks so much. A lot of people love a good snow day. Even a U.S. senator. They aren't any different. How one of them is celebrating his day off.
I think if that would have been here yesterday, I would have done the same. Taking a little boogie board ride, for sure. We're looking at a weekend outlook that hopefully we'll start to see a warming trend. Those details are coming up after the break. Stick around.
We'll stay right here, Tim. It is 6:42 on this Thursday. We're so glad you're waking up with us. We hope your day's off to a great start so far. Stick around. Time now is 6:45 on this Thursday. If you're just waking up with us, we're checking how traffic is moving with one of our live eye cams. Taking a live look now at the gateway to Grovetown, I-20 and Grovetown. As we've been telling you all morning, traffic is moving pretty smoothly. Not too much to report at all. Everybody's talking about the weather. And the man with all the answers, meteorologist Tim Strong.
Well, I appreciate that. That makes me feel real good. It is a cold morning, folks. We're looking at a clear sky, beautiful sunrise here a little after 7:30, but the air temperatures are still brutally cold. We're sitting mainly below 30 most of the morning. We've been as cold in Augusta when winds weren't quite as high. 18, that was our low coming in around about 3 o'clock this morning. Then we got the breeze back. Still feels very cold with wind chill values that are down in the upper teens to low 20s. 29 at the airport. Dew points read 11. That means it is extremely dry outside, and we will continue to stay dry through the rest of the work week. Now, the upcoming weekend forecast, we're trying to find some warmer air. It's moving back more into a pattern of low to mid 40s. Saturday we'll have sunshine, maybe a few scattered clouds. We'll keep it dry. Morning lows are still going to be Saturday morning down in the middle 20s. And then moving on into Sunday, Yeah, maybe just a few degrees warmer. It's not mostly noticeable until we get into about Monday where the real change happens. But 40 to 45 between midday to 2 o'clock here. We're continuing to stay without any rain chance through the upcoming weekend. And as I mentioned, Monday seems to be a little bit better opportunity for some rainfall. Temperatures will really move back into a little bit more of a comfortable reading in the mid-upper 50s, and that may hang around for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week.
That's going to be a heat wave.
That's going to be something else.
Compared to what we're going through. Well, it is the final countdown to next week's College Football National Championship, and you can see the final touches being put on the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The city of Atlanta will hold a news conference today to talk about their plans to handle some 100,000 visitors and possibly an appearance from President Trump. Well, if you are hoping to hit it big, your chance might be here. For the first time ever, both Powerball and Mega Millions have jackpots over $400 million at the same time.
You'll have to compete with only a few million people, though.
I am feeling very lucky. I'm oozing with luck.
He's oozing with luck. Everyone seems to be pretty confident. The odds of one of them winning the Powerball are 292 million to 1. The Mega Millions, 303 million to 1.
Hey, somebody won that $1 billion one a couple years ago, yeah?
I tell you,
So
you know, if you're looking to try both, you've got a 1 in 88, quadrillion chance of winning. That's 15 zeros.
As long as that one's in there, you
hey,
feel okay.
That one could be you. Well, those of you who got some likely got out and enjoyed yesterday's snow. Look at this, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, no different. The Senate was back in session yesterday, but he wasn't. That's because the flights to D.C. were canceled, so he took advantage of his day off. Can't say we blame him.
This video shows Scott riding what looks like a boogie board in the snow. Tries letting go, but kind of bites it. Face plants a little bit here. You don't get the full experience unless you eat some snow on one of those rides.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, in a tweet, Senator Scott said, quote, alternate transportation methods unsuccessful.
That sometimes happens.
Yeah, well, when you're not used to it.
That's right.
So former White House leaders causing some major shakeups in the Russia investigation. The new claims from Trump's former chief strategist and campaign chairman. Taking another live look now at downtown Augusta. This fountain looks more like an ice sculpture. It's been that way the last 2 or 3 days. Doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. It is 6:49. We're talking more weather and news on the other side of the break. Welcome back, everybody. Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort is suing the U.S. Justice Department. In a federal lawsuit, Manafort says Robert Mueller did not have the right to charge him for conspiracy to launder money because it had nothing to do with his investigation into the 2016 presidential election. Now, Mueller has been looking into the finances of several President Trump aides. Manafort has pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, President Trump's former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, is making waves for allegations he made about the First Family. In a new book, Bannon is quoted ripping into a number of Trump family members and weighing in on the Russia investigation. He claims Ivanka Trump is actually eyeing the White House and says President Trump often yells at White House staff. Now, that led the president himself to issue a statement Wednesday afternoon attacking his former advisor, claiming Bannon has lost his mind. Well, a deputy trainee is recovering this morning from a broken leg after accidentally being hit in a chase. So it reportedly happened Tuesday morning around 8 near Cedar Street and Telfair. Investigators say deputy trainee Richard Russell got out of a patrol car to chase a suspect who was running from the scene. That's when Deputy Jason McCall reportedly swerved another patrol car and accidentally hit Russell. Now, Russell was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. The 16-year-old driver, meanwhile, he's being charged with felony fleeing, attempting to elude, no license, and theft by receiving.
Well, up here is the morning bike and jock forecast. If you're just starting to lose your own mind because you can't get out in the cold, well, if you need to, you got temperatures that are in a spread of 20s to about 30 degrees for the next few hours. Wind chill values, unfortunately, are dangerously cold. So just use some common sense. Be very cautious in this cold the entire day. Expected to be a bit of a bitter cold afternoon. We'll have details on the rest of the outlook shortly.
All right, Tim. It is a beautiful morning. Look at that skyline. Aw, as we head out to break, here's another live look at I-20 Gateway to Grovetown. It's just still amazing how the sky is able to just make all those beautiful colors. Before we head to break, though, we showed you a few of these pictures earlier in the show, but we just can't get enough, so we want to see yours. Send us your winter weather celebrations by submitting the photos to WRDW.com or downloading them onto our News 12 app. We can't blame any of you for getting out and enjoying the snow. Well, here's a check of the top stories we're following for you today in our morning rundown. Parts of the two states starting to pick up this morning. The Charleston and Savannah areas were slammed with snow yesterday. The flurries caused near whiteout conditions in some areas and caused parts of I-95 to shut down. Closer to home, many of you in the Bamberg area also still waking up under white conditions. At last check, yesterday's flurries still have not melted there. Officials say even though it's another day to play, you do need to be extra cautious. So in many places below the flurries is a thick layer of ice, which is bad news for drivers. Well, the worst may be over here, but parts of the Northeast are bracing for one of their worst storms in years. Boston shelves are being bought out and police are prepping Army surplus vehicles. Forecasters are calling for nearly a foot of snow and nearly 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Yuck. Just straight up awful here. We've got our own travel concerns because of what's on the roads and what maybe you can't see. The black ice concern down in the low country. Jenkins, Screven, Allendale County, still the winter weather advisory in effect until 11 a.m. So those outer-lying eastern counties still be very careful. The rest of the day, very cold. Please be careful in this cold. We're looking at wind chill values that'll only be in the 20s to maybe at freezing for the rest of today, but we'll have clear skies. For the rest of the week, we're trying to get out of these cold temps. The mornings are still going to be really, really cold in the low 20s, mid 40s into Sunday. Chance of rain, believe it or not, coming back in mid 50s.
Oh, man.
So there we go.
There we go.
Out next week.
Hope so. Thanks, Tim.